All right, let's do this, Steven.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Um, Before we jump right in, I wanted to set the stage with a few items to think about as we go through the webinar. One quick statistic that is pretty impactful. 75% of the office market utilizes our tools, with the majority of them being worksheet. I also find this statement to be very impactful from my startup days, actually, especially as we continue to look at how we reshape and approach our tools. In the past, we've concentrated on building the thing right, but now at Syncly, our focus is to build the right thing by listening to what the market needs. 18 months from now, the content landscape that we look at will be completely different. All the existing file-based catalogs will transition into cloud-based data to allow our clients more autonomous control over all their data. And starting with this journey is cloud pricing that we're going to dive into here shortly. So I do want to welcome everybody to the webinar. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to hear about what we're launching, what we actually have launched in the market, and to talk more about cloud pricing and how that can make an impact to your business here in 2023. I'm really thrilled to be a part of the journey and to meet everybody along the way. With that said, I want to do a quick introduction. So my name is Steven Blohm. I joined Syncly March of last year, with my background being in office furniture manufacturing, sourcing, and along with being involved with tech startups. So the blend of office furniture and creative technology solution engineering is really kind of the best of the both worlds for me. And again, I'm just incredibly thrilled to be here and to present cloud pricing and get to know everybody. Amy?
Yeah, Amy Eddington here. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to have you on. Some of you I have known in the past. Some are probably going to be new names. I've been in the office industry for over 15 years and working directly with dealers and manufacturers on how to utilize software to better the overall customer experience. I came on as a product manager to 2020, now Syncly, late last fall. And I am super excited about the journey that we are about to be on. And I can't wait to see what we do together and how we can work better together as we are on this journey. So welcome. For any questions as we go throughout this, please feel free to put those in the chat. Make sure that you put that to all, just so that we can see that. And then as we go through this, I'll be looking at that. And if I feel like it makes sense for us to stop and maybe dig into a question, we will. Otherwise, our goal is to get through this and come back and answer questions towards the end. But please, any and all questions are welcomed.
Amazing. Thanks, Amy. So before we dive in, I do want to just give a brief company update. As I'm sure most of you all have seen, we've started to have our new brand out there. So I just wanted to kind of touch on a few things. So really, on this slide, I really want to focus on the last 3 bullet points. So in Q4 of 2021, CompuSoft and 2020 merged. Both being a leader and golden standard in the respective industries. Since that merger, there actually has been a very busy year, 12 M&As that have taken place that ultimately now makes up Syncly. So I just really wanted to kind of highlight how busy we've been since that merger in Q4 in 21. So with that, some of the M&As that I mentioned, this kind of gives a snapshot of where we're at. And I wanted to mention this because somewhat overnight, our organization has kind of taken a new shape, giving us more an incredible talent pool to pull from, transformative leadership, and even more importantly, a vast toolbox of technologies that we can pull from to better assist our clients, which is incredibly exciting as we kind of go through this journey. With that said, with our merger in CompuSoft being a European country and the M&As kind of happening around the globe, it really allows us to have a global footprint. We're in over 100 countries, 2,400 plus employees, and we're still expanding. So we can really tackle your needs on a global scale, which is very exciting and expands our reach dramatically. Awesome. So with that said, I do want to start off with a statistic by Gartner. Cloud-based solutions are dominating every industry, and by 2025, 85% of all enterprises will have a cloud-first solution. So if you really let that set in and kind of think about how we've operated in the office market for so long, that's a pretty drastic change. But it's a change that's exciting and that we're really excited to be a part of. And 2020 is no different. You know, we're positioning ourselves for the next generation of technology, and again, with the start of cloud pricing that we're going to dive into. But again, with that said, you know, we used to listen to music on CDs, sometimes tape players, but now you really listen music completely different. You know, you listen to Spotify. When you would rent a movie, you would go to a Redbox, or even when Netflix was sending DVDs, and now everything's streamed through the cloud. So I think you can probably focus on some point of your life that has moved and transitioned to the cloud, and ultimately for the better. So everywhere around us, right, is really having that shift happen. So today, your file-based manufacturing catalogs are really equivalent to that CD. You know, this past December, we stopped doing the DVDs because that is our step to really be a cloud-first solution. Here's a snapshot of all the manufacturers that have committed to switching over to the cloud. So it's incredibly exciting. Since Q4 of last year, we've really gained momentum and being able to show the value that cloud and cloud pricing can offer to manufacturers and dealers alike. But this just gives you a snapshot of who's committed. And I do want to point out, highlighted are ones that are already live and in the cloud. So that's very exciting. You can find them in the pricing center and worksheet. So what is Syncly Cloud? What is the 2020 cloud, right? The 2020 cloud is the future of how all of our clients will interact with their data. The new way of interaction will truly empower you as the manufacturer to make changes instantaneously, but also empower the end user to have accurate catalogs with better content to streamline design and sales cycle. The instantaneously and the on-demand is incredibly important. We all know with how market changes so quickly, we need to be able to make those adaptations to the market. And then also we want to be proactive when not having to be so reactive into the market, which is incredibly important. So this will truly change the way the industry interacts with content data and really creating a single source of truth for that content being used, which is incredibly important. So with that said, this slide is to demonstrate what that center of truth looks like. So think of it as one universal format connecting the right content to the right people at the right time. I mean, that's a very impactful statement that we really want to hold true when we release this cloud, and that's what cloud pricing is actually delivering. So think of 2020 cloud as the center or wheel or even the brain behind every application. 2020 cloud is the data that drives every tool to the end user and allow manufacturers to spec and provide data. So dealers can spec with ease. Amy, do you want to add your comments?
Yeah, one thing that I would just say to think about is manufacturers that are on the call. Think about all the different locations today that you are updating your data, and you are likely updating that data for multiple tools, for manufacturing, for websites, for all of those different locations. And if we only make those changes in one spot, the likelihood of error, margin erosion, and everything else that comes with having to change things in multiple spaces eliminates itself by being able to change that in one space and then push that out to all of those locations. So as we go through this, continue to think about how many different spots you are making these changes and how many errors come with manually making changes like that.
Yeah, very good point. So with that said, about having to make those changes, you know, across multiple different devices, platforms, wherever those changes are occurring, really leads to the stat that we have found that 40% of designers work in out-of-date catalogs. Out-of-date catalogs really make it very difficult, right, for us to be able to be efficient and to provide accurate quotes. So when it comes to the manufacturer, the out-of-date catalogs, from the moment they are published, which goes through a lengthy update schedule to publish again, and any corrections have to go through those updates. So the content in the cloud will allow for those updates to happen more instantaneously instead of going through the monthly update process. Requires individual users to physically update their catalogs, requires manufacturers to duplicate catalogs and provide unique versions. And data is a one-way street. So manufacturers don't receive anything about the usage, right? So analytics is another key component that's going to be a very big benefit when it comes to moving to the cloud. And cloud pricing will be that first step where we can really show those analytics to the manufacturers. And what does it mean, current state for dealers? So out-of-date catalogs create frustrating and lengthy design ordering process. I heard a stat with my time here that designers are spending 8 to 10 hours a week just when it comes to pricing. So having to call, email, check, orders getting rejected and sent back, that's a lot of time weekly that adds up when it's just related to pricing. When you talk about a catalog in general, no two catalogs are alike, right? So, and also allows for individual selections and no business information, again, going back to the dealers. So we really want to provide analytics. We understand that moving to the cloud, analytics is really going to be the key component for both the manufacturers and the dealers. So this is all about enabling manufacturers. I really say that because cloud pricing first starts with the manufacturers, but then also impacts the end users, which is the dealer designers. But it's really going to enable the manufacturers to have more tools to be able to provide the most updated data. So it enables manufacturers to author and publish updates instantaneously, which forces the usage to be designed with the most up-to-date catalogs, which is incredibly important. Manage and update pricing separately. So how we're actually handling cloud pricing is we're able to take your file-based catalogs and in a sense copy and paste your pricing structures into the cloud. That would allow you to update your pricing separately from the other content that is in the catalogs, which is incredibly important. More flexible, right? You're going to align your data into existing systems and eliminate manual order entry. Again, advanced analytics. I'm going to say probably throughout the webinar multiple times is that data is king. We want to be able for you to make business decisions based off of the analytics that are happening into the cloud. And again, one universal data source that really allows that connection to occur. This is where I really want to spend a little bit of time, and I really want to show the difference between file-based and cloud-based pricing updates. This will ultimately apply to all of our content that will be moved to the cloud during this transformation. But again, our focus right now is really cloud pricing, and I really want to kind of show how that impacts your business. So throughout the last 2 years, we've really seen an impact into the supply chain that can have an impact on pricing. Cloud pricing allows for real-time, on-demand pricing updates. So pricing tied to your catalog updates completely goes away when you move to cloud pricing. You're now able to update those pricings autonomously and on demand. Pricing tied to the catalog updates is very laborious and will be and completely goes away. Specific pricing for specific clients has its own catalogs that has to be maintained. So that's a very, again, lengthy process that will go away when you move to cloud pricing. Cloud pricing allows for restricted access to those catalogs, so pricing can be updated in one place. And again, that goes back to Amy's point of you having to maintain multiple catalogs, different updates. This allows you to do it in one place, but it allows the restricted access to certain dealers to be able to update that one location. And customs. Customs are, not everybody might handle customs, but I know some of our clients are very customizable solutions. And with that, this allows you, again, to have all those pricing structures in one place so you don't have to continue to have multiple catalogs and there's this very lengthy process to update your pricing. So this goes back to contractual pricing. Apologies, it went out of order there. But this goes where you're able to have the contractual pricing and net pricing is able to be accessed with that restricted access with cloud pricing, because we can handle the login authentications. So manufacturing impact. Why would you want to make this change? So why make the change, right? First off, accelerate time to market. I really think we can all probably agree. There's a lot of reasons why make the change to cloud, how cloud pricing can impact you, but accelerate the time to market by far, I think, is the most impactful change. Live stream updates by promotions and market or region. You're going to react quickly to market changes. Significantly decrease the time to fulfill orders. And one of the bullet points that I really like the most is control accuracy, right? We are all human errors. There are going to be little pricing issues that happen. And with cloud pricing, you're able to make those changes on the fly and have those reflect your users on demand, instead of having to wait the 30 days that it would normally take for those monthly updates to occur. Second, control access. Supply your price list to the right people at the right time. So this goes back to, yes, this will handle list price as of now, but also you're able to have net pricing to restrict those access to those certain contractual obligations that you have to uphold. So you can supply multiple price lists to your customers, address those specific needs, and contractual pricing, as I mentioned, for those specific customers. So that's incredibly important. And then again, being a broken record, data is king. You'll be able to track more than what is sold, which I think is very, very important. They'll be able to have fallout rates, click rates, and you won't be able to just see, hey, this is what I sold, but hey, this is what is being designed. So track catalog usage and review trends, identify trends to accurately forecast product usage, understanding how designers are interacting with your products. I think that's incredibly important to understand that interaction, where there might be fallout rate, and to really allow the user experience to be even better for those designers. Focusing on sales efforts to maximize coverage, and that is another incredibly important point. So this slide really speaks to your market. I get a lot of questions that say, well, that's great and all, but what is the impact if I move to cloud pricing? So you need to keep in mind, your market is 20,000 active office and furniture professionals, and 78% of the manufacturing users use our spec your products through 2020 worksheet. Apologies. So your market is incredibly large. So when you actually allow that market to access cloud pricing, you're allowing them the on-demand pricing instantaneously. This slide is one that I wanted to touch on to just reinforce the single source of truth that we're shooting for with this data. So you can really control in distribution. Analytics, again, is key. Increase sales and time to market. Those are the bullet points that I really think are incredibly important to their overall business decision of moving to cloud pricing. I'm going to hand it over to Amy, and she's going to talk about the dealer impact of the business.
Thanks, Steven. Next slide. So one of the biggest things that I think we have done in this market is a lot of the times when we look at software, we tend to put the focus towards design, right? What software is design using? How is it impacting design? And although that I'm a designer by trade, and I have a special place in my heart for designers, that's just one department. We need to think beyond just design, the design department, especially when we're thinking about worksheets. And we know that we have over 12,000 worksheet users. So knowing that is important to know who is using the tool, right? So we have sales, new business development. We have account managers, and then we have designers. But even talking about designers, we have to think about, are these production designers or hybrid designers? Then we have the back end of the dealers, right? You got your project manager and order entry. All of these people are touching a worksheet at any given time. And what we want to make sure is with the cloud that no matter when the path happens between these different departments, that it happens smoothly, and that we are not creating any chance of error or to have somebody do the work double or triple the time because it wasn't translated over properly. So as you think about why this is important and what impact it means, when you think about the dealer, I want you to start thinking about the entire dealer and what that means as to how they are doing business and how quickly they can respond to their clients. Currently, as Steven said, and actually I found out that that number, 8 to 10 hours, is low after speaking with some more dealers, that dealers are spending anywhere from actually 10 to 20 hours a week to ensure that manufacturer pricing is accurate. That may be calling on the phone, following up with emails, whatever it may be. The fact that they're having to spend that much time is not only a waste, but it is not profitable for you to make sure that they're going to use your products because we want to ensure the pricing is correct. The other thing that we need to think about is the amount of edits and changes that dealers are experiencing with clients every day. It only exacerbates the stress of ensuring that the price is correct. And then lastly, this one really, I about fell off my chair when I heard this one, right? I'm used to quotes being about 30 days, sometimes longer. That quotes are typically now only valid for 10 to 15 days because of pricing changes that are occurring in the market. And so again, if I want to feel confident about giving a price to a client, I want to know that it is correct, and I shouldn't have to contact my manufacturer to ensure that it is correct. And that is where cloud pricing will essentially fix that. So manufacturers all being in one location, if we think about this from the end user, although you guys are all competitors as manufacturers, at the end of the day, what a dealer is doing is not competitive when it comes to being able to get a quote out to a client. It's about having the correct price and also being able to have everything at one location for them. And that's what Pricing Center does. Pricing Center allows for all of the manufacturers to be in one location. It also allows dealers to access both list and net, and that dealers can feel confident in that quote. Something important that I want you to note is that today, it is important, if you're going to leave this webinar, and if you go out to Worksheet and go to File, Pricing Center, and you don't see it, it's because Pricing Center was released last year in Q2. If you're dealers or at the manufacturer level, if you have not updated since the last year, you're not going to see Pricing Center. It's a very easy fix. You need to go out to our website and you need to make sure you're on the most current version. Another important note is that in our last release in December, there were some very critical behind the scenes features that were added that you will not see, but it is impactful in how you work with Pricing Center. So going forward, it's going to be very, very important that we stay up to date when updates happen, and there will be more of that coming and what that's going to look like as I work on the worksheet tool itself. So we would like to give you a little bit of a demo of what Pricing Center is. Steven, you can go ahead and start that. I will say I created this video this morning because, let's be honest, no live demo is ever a good idea. But this is in real time, so we are all good there. A couple of things to note. You'll notice that there is a green check mark on the left-hand side there, and that means that everything has been fully specified properly. If you don't have a green check mark, if you have not specified, you will not be able to get the correct list pricing. So that is an important thing to note before you go through an activity like this. I'm going to go to File and Pricing Center. In here, I used VerSteel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select VerSteel and go in to the Pricing Center. And from here, I'm going to see a list of drop-down dates of what I'd like to select. Do I want to go to a more current list? Do I need to go behind or go previously to a date for a client? Once I have selected that, I'm going to go ahead and then say go. And it's going to give you the lovely disclaimer. But once it goes through this, you're going to see that we've completed. We have 9 successful, 0 failed, none locked, and none unsupported. And you're probably going, well, what does that all mean? You'll notice here in a minute when I click OK that we're going to see some more columns appear. And when those columns appear, it's going to be able to show us what has actually happened. So it may have been a little bit smaller, but if you had noticed that original cost or original list was 139, the very first line item. Now it went to 133. You'll also notice on the left-hand side over there, we now have a cloud with a check mark, and that is actually showing us that we have successfully gotten our list price. And then over on the far right, you can see which date we have selected that from. So it is really that simple. I will tell you, I myself didn't believe it was that simple and easy, but it really is. The other thing to note is as manufacturers are added, and this one really threw me, you guys, I really did not think it was true. They're going to just automatically appear. You will not have to download to get into Pricing Center. They will automatically appear. Again, didn't believe it was true. You usually have to download something. Trust me, I've now seen all of them that are in there magically appear when I opened up Worksheet and went in there. So just be aware that that is an easy user interface that I think is really nice, but I think we're not used to that. So keep that in mind as we go forward. So what is the future of Worksheet and CIP3? One of the biggest things coming in and onto this team is looking at Worksheet, right? And it's a power horse. Everybody has used it for many, many years, but there hasn't been a lot of love given to it and bringing it to, let's say, a modern day look. So currently I'm working with my development team and UX and UI team to give Worksheet an overall updated look. It's going to feel much more like a ribbon that you will see inside of any type of Microsoft experience. And give it some updated Syncly colors as well. After the facelift, there are many other features and things that I want to do. And as we progress with that, we will also share that out with you. I'm also looking to put together a manufacturer advisory board as well as a dealer advisory board. That's something that you're interested in and you would like to be in the forefront of being able to have a say in what's happening early on. Love to hear from you. So please feel free to reach out to me. One of the big things we are working on, though, this quarter is adding in cut sheets to Worksheet. I'm not sure how many manufacturers realize this, but most dealers utilize cut sheets for sign-off for clients. One of the biggest things when I was coaching dealers was hearing that clients weren't always clear on what they were getting, right? It may show in the list, oh, yes, you're getting this, purple color, but maybe it's not the purple that the client exactly wanted. And so by having a cut sheet, it gives them not only an image of that, a description of everything, but obviously all of the materials below. This is going to be automatically generated for them based on how they set up their worksheet, and will go into PowerPoint for editing and being able to then brand based on the dealer needs. One of the other large initiatives that we are focusing on here is how we can, within a cloud system, be able to then connect with other third parties in this industry. One of the biggest things is passing off, right, from depending on tool to depending on where you're at in the process. And a big part of that process is into a dealer business system. So how can we actually connect into that? So again, we are not losing information throughout this part of the journey and not having to redo information because it was lost. We are currently working with NetSuite. I will say that actively. If there are others that you see in the list that are very imperative to the success of your manufacturers and the dealers and the manufacturers and how you all work together, again, please reach out. We are early in this process and we are looking to talk with all of them because we want to be agnostic amongst this entire community. My goal with all of this, as I tell my team, is we're here to play in the sandbox. We know that there are other tools that people use, but we also know that Worksheet is a big part of that. And so we want to make sure that throughout this entire process, it's as easy as possible for everybody.
Beautifully said.
And to end it, there you go. If you have other questions, you can also reach out to Steven if you're interested in getting your pricing in the cloud.
Yeah, so here's my information, and then we'll also be following up with the recording of this webinar. So please don't hesitate to reach out before then. I'd also just like to chat and get to know more of our clients that I haven't met before. So obviously, if you have more questions and we want to chat further in depth about cloud pricing, I would love to do that. But I also want to hear about other, goals that you all have for 2023 and how we may be able to, really help be a technology partner and not just a licensing, a venue here. So I'd love to talk more. So with that said, I'm going to open it up to any questions that you all might have that we can answer while Amy and I are on the line. So one question is, what is the technology, what is the IT lift involved from the clients? So one thing that is pretty amazing about the cloud is that 2020 will actually handle the entire implementation. There'll be some slight testing that we need our clients to do just to make sure that the pricing is coming in right, but everything is done on our end. We're going to take the file-based catalogs, like I mentioned earlier, in a sense, copy and paste the pricing zones and have them live into the cloud. And then with that, like Amy said, it will automatically appear in the pricing center for your users.
Yeah. Another question here, is it possible to apply multiple manufacturers at the same time in the same worksheet? Currently today, the answer is no. However, as soon as I saw that, whoever asked that question, I will tell you that was my first question. So I can say that that is already on a feature request to get something like that added in. So I like where your mind is with that. Next question, will the pricing center eventually replace the monthly updates?
The cloud
That's a
will.
great question. Yeah, I mean, the cloud will really take over all of the monthly updates. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but for now, to be fair, the monthly updates have to happen, right? Because we're just talking about pricing in the cloud right now. All of your other content catalogs, all of that would still have to be through a monthly update. So once we have everything in the cloud, yes, those monthly updates would go away. But currently, you'll be doing both.
Yep. I do not
Next
see
question.
anything in worksheet. How do I get it? How do I get it, Amy?
Oh, yeah. If you don't see anything in worksheet, you will need to go out and update your worksheet. So it's very simple. Go out to our website, download the most current. It's 2022.3 for the most current version, and it will magically appear for you so that you can see that.
Yeah.
Can you better define the integration? Does that mean importing and getting images too?
So
yes.
Go ahead, Amy. You can take that one.
I was just going to say yes. I mean, the idea is to have all of your content. So part numbers, pricing, imagery, materials, anything that you have that you are potentially loading up into multiple different areas in your systems today, that would all happen in one location.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like this one. So no more CDs.
No, those were done at the end of last year.
Nice, nice. Oh, this was a great one. Can I get Amy's email so I can volunteer for the focus group? Of course.
1,000%, yes. Let me actually put it in the chat, everybody, so you have it. And otherwise, I should have put mine at the end too, Steven. Okay, you all have it in the chat. If I need help in how to use it, who do I ask? I would call our support team. They can guide you through that. And that should be pretty easy. If you're a manufacturer, I would reach out to myself or Steven if you're wanting to discuss how to use it and what's going on.
Exactly.
Team Design Cloud does not integrate with 2020. Worksheet SIF files have to be imported. Will that change with cloud pricing options? That's a really great question. Whoever asked that question, I would like to understand more about that. So if you would like to email me directly, before I answer that fully, I'd like to talk about that a little bit more.
So this one, somebody said, so you aren't able to tell us the cost of this versus what we pay now for a yearly subscription. So I will take this one. I can most certainly do that on an individual basis. The cloud is priced on a tiered level, and it's based off the number and size of catalogs that you currently have. So that'll be, individualized to your current annual subscription fee. So I'd be happy to talk through that and the difference that you would potentially be paying moving to the cloud.
Yeah. Another one, can you publish a list of manufacturers being added to the pricing center in the near future for benefit of the dealer? Yes, we are working closely with our marketing team as well as the manufacturer's marketing team to ensure that people are aware when new manufacturers have been added. If there is anything specific from the manufacturer's end that you would like to see, and or for the dealer end in a specific location where you would like to see that, please let us know. I almost want to communicate that obnoxiously so it's everywhere so people are aware. But yes, to your point, we will continue to be doing that. Another great question, can contract designers have access to vendors like Miller, Knoll, and Hayworth in cloud pricing and not be a part of the dealer, but a separate independent designer? If you are not if you're working just for the manufacturer as an independent, yes, you will have access to what would be allocated per the manufacturer to you. So that should not be a problem at all.
Oh, this is
that all comes back to what Steven was talking to earlier about the authentication. So with that, it allows for, the privacy needed to ensure that the right people have the right things in their hands.
Exactly. If I'm a user dealer, do I get cloud pricing? Is it a part of my current annual contract? Answer is yes. If you have Worksheet and you have the most updated version, then you have access to cloud pricing immediately with the vendors that are currently in the pricing center, as you were able to see during the demo. But yes, it is included in your annual contract.
This is another good question, and I would love to talk to the manufacturers about this one. Often we are providing budgetary pricing without finishes. Oh, lovely RFPs. Those are always so fun. How do we get pricing that way? Currently, you can't, right? So if you remember when I was doing that demo, you have to have an actual material fully specified. I know some manufacturers have created where you can have an undecided graded finish. And I'm thinking in my mind, that could potentially be a way to solve that, because again, whoever sent that over, I 1000% agree with you. You don't want to go through and select finishes, just select finishes. So again, another great feature. And if you would like to reach out to me specifically, I would love to talk to you more about that. Okay, what else do we have? What contracts will have net pricing available? So currently, the only one, once it appears in there, that is going to have net pricing available is going to be Herman Miller. And that's because we are connecting into their ERP system. Now, that all being said, the goal of Pricing Center is to actually handle that in our cloud, but that functionality is not readily available today. So with that being said, Herman Miller made the decision to connect with their system, and so that is why that is happening today. What you will find for now is just list pricing. So you'd still be applying your contracts how you normally have. However, as soon as we have manufacturers and we have that feature in there and we can get that will be wildly communicated to everybody, because I know that's a huge part of the process and will really eliminate a lot. Will I have access to cloud pricing while I'm in the field or working from home if I'm not connected to the main server?
If you're connected,
I think as long as you're connected to the internet, yeah.
You're connected to, if you have a network connection, yes, you'll be able to access cloud pricing. That's really the goal of us moving to the cloud, is to be able to have accessibility across multiple different products. So eventually cloud will be, you'll be able to access this from your smartphone or from your tablet or whatever the case is. But yes, if you're on your laptop in the field, as long as you have a network connection and your worksheet with the most updated version, you can access Pricing Center.
These were all wonderful questions. That's the last one that I see. So are there any others before we let you go for the day? Yes, Pricing Center is open to all customers that have worksheets. So anybody who has worksheet will have access to Pricing Center and will have access to the manufacturers that are currently in Pricing Center.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody so much for coming on today's webinar. We are here to support you. And as I continue to tell anybody that I've been working with here is this tool's for you, right? So as the product manager, I am not going to create a bunch of crazy features because I think they're cool. I want to hear from you, and I want to make sure that we are creating a tool that is successful, both for the manufacturer and for the dealers. So if you're thinking of anything that you would like the tool to do until I get my fancy new messaging center inside of Worksheet, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to talk to you.
And ditto to that. I appreciate everybody joining, and hopefully you have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.